So here we are, July 13th, I think. July 13th, 2025. We've got some stuff to do and we're going to get right down and do it. The pulley wheel for my fan for my Austin 7 is spinning. Don't exactly know why it's spinning, but it is spinning. So doesn't matter how much I tighten up that bolt going on to the crankshaft. We'll talk about this now. So it's this pulley here. This is the broken nose cone of the really seized engine, the one that was full of gunk, the cream cheese engine. When I tried to turn it over, I didn't brace this aluminum piece here, the alloy piece, and that broke the whole nose cone off. Now I've still got the broken piece, and if I clean that off, maybe I'll be able to just glue it back together again with some GB weld. There's the cream cheese, remember the cream cheese in the thing? Anyway, I don't know if I'll be able to get this pulley wheel off. It's supposed to be a friction fit. A friction fit. No, it can't be a friction fit, right? It's got to turn. I don't know exactly how that key's on. Yeah, it's a friction fit onto the crankshaft, but it's just got oil seals in here. So I'm going to clean this off. I mean, I don't know if it's of interest to anyone cleaning this off. And I heard that rather than use a pulley extractor to pull this off, you're supposed to knock it sharply on one of the center pieces here. Oh, this cream cheese is just falling right off this thing. You hit it sharply here near the center, and for some reason that shouldn't necessarily break this pulley wheel and knock it loose. So I'm just going to, well, maybe I'll just leave you on and I'll speed through the clean up operation here, right? So it's going to be extremely messy. I don't think there's any point in trying to do anything spectacular about not making a mess. It's going to make a mess no matter what I do. So maybe I won't give much of a narrative on this, but I'm just cleaning really. It's been excessively warm here in New Jersey just now. Bit of a heat wave, but very hot and humid, you know. So I'm very interested about all this muck, the cream cheese that was in that engine. It was remarkable, and I tend to think it's just old oil that just calcified in there because it's been sitting so long. It said, you know, on the windshield, it's still on there because the windshield's still on the chassis over there, the orange one you'll remember seeing in previous videos. 1971 is the last time it was registered in New York. So I didn't think this would happen in just that amount of time, right? 71 is, well, it's 50 years, yeah, I suppose it would happen in 50 years. The car itself's 80 something years old. This used to be grease. It's now solid something. Might give me a clue about how that's fixed on there actually. See how there's a flange around this? So that's the pulley wheel I'm trying to take off, right? Hope you can see that. That's the pulley wheel I'm trying to take off, right? The pulley wheel, and see this little flange thing on this side here, this, don't know what that is. It's really gunged up, man, really gunged up. Let's spray some special stuff on it. As you know, I'm glad to see in some of the other web pages, YouTube channels, people are actually giving this PB Blaster a bit of a shout out, because I do think it's miraculous stuff if you don't spray it all over your refrigerator. probably not meant for cleaning up messy stuff, but I'm using it for that. This bristle's no good. Maybe this. I think actually a wire brush would be better than anything else. There's my old wire brush. All the bits now. Trying to kind of brush in one direction so it doesn't get all over me. I don't want any of this cream cheese stuff on me. At least the smell of the TV blaster reminds me of my youth, because it smells kind of like diesel. I kind of think, you know, rather than anything super special, it says it's a penetrating catalyst. It might just be diesel that's in it, in which case, you know, manufacturers are probably all laughing at us. But the smell takes me back to my youth with my grandfather, when he would take me around in his old dumper truck. That's what he did for a living, and he would always fill up with diesel before he finished for the day, of course ready for his work the next day, right? So I always remembered as a youth the smell of the diesel, because all the cars back in the 50s, I shouldn't say all the cars, a lot of the cars back in the 50s were gasoline, right? Gasoline was cheap and plentiful. So I always smelled diesel in the big commercial garages that my grandfather would go and fill his truck with. I thought about a shop. All kinds of shoe tile. Trying any kind of clean up the shop rags right now, but at least I'll try and get rid of some of this stuff. Truly filthy, grotty stuff. You do despair when you look at these things as to whether you would ever, you know, that looks like solder that someone's put on there. It's not hardened grease. And you know, I've got the added advantage, I could just knock it out from behind here, right? Maybe. That's a big assumption. I think there is a felt sealing behind this, isn't there? I think that's what I'm feeling the remnants of here. You won't be able to see it, I don't suppose. Look, see this thing I'm pulling out? Where is it? There it is. See this thing I'm pulling out? I think that's the remains of the felt seal. I might need to get a new one of them when I reinstall it. See it pulling out? I think that's a felt seal. Felt seal. It's how it stops the if you soldered that up, how the hell was it ever going to turn? And you know, you'll see through this, there is no key in there. I wondered if there was a key. There is no key, so it's just a friction fit. So, do I put this in the vise and give it a sharp rap, like that, like they say? Am I brave enough to do that? I don't have another pulley wheel, I'm saying that. Do I have another pulley wheel? I have another engine with a pulley wheel on it. I might have another pulley wheel as well. My dad gave me some spares. So what do you guys think? I think if I put the pulley puller on this, do we care about messing this up? It is really corroded, man. Let's try it the way the old timers say. Give it a sharp sharp wrap with a cold chisel. And then now my trusty cold chisels. Get the biggest, clunkiest one. Right now, can I just do it? They say near the centre, like this. There's even a mark on there where somebody's done it before. Okay, sharp wrap. You see this? Probably not, huh? Hit that effectively. Put a little socket on there, the right diameter, and then knock it the other way. Highly doubtful that's going to move before that alloy disintegrates. Do you agree? I don't quite understand why hitting it with this cold chisel is supposed to free it here. Seems counterintuitive, you know. Wow. How about a wee bit of the puller to try and just ease it out of there. I mean, why do I think this is going to work? Something moved. Something moved. Something definitely moved there. Yes, it's wriggling. Wow. Who'd have thought my messed up way of doing this would work? Yes. Thank you. Okay. Some more. 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 You can I don't know if you guys can see this or not. Voila. So there you go. I guess the sharp wrap, I can't say that, sharp wrap to the centre spoke of that wheel worked, huh? Now, why I think this old thing would be any better than the one that's actually on my good engine, it's the height of optimism, isn't it? There are different versions of this pulley wheel, which I was blissfully unaware of. I think I'm just going to clean this up a wee bit on the shaft here. I think I need to get the inside of the pulley much cleaner, because if that is a friction fit on the crankshaft, that needs to be pretty clean, doesn't it? Oh look, there is, oops sorry, there is a thread in there. Can you see that? You can't see nothing. What do we need? There's the flashlight. Does that one work? Oh, it does. You see that thread in there if I wiggle it around? Maybe from that side. I wonder why there's a thread. Why is there a thread? No, it isn't a thread, it's just some markings. I don't think it's supposed to be threaded. I don't believe that it's threaded. Not properly, you know, maybe something with a thread. In fact, probably the crankshaft, right, has bound up on it and threaded it a little bit. Goodness me. Putting lubricant on this one, I'm going to put the fan belt on it. Probably a bad idea, right? It just seems to be an easy way of cleaning it, is all. Carb cleaner's probably more better. If I had some, I probably don't have any left. I tend to use that liberally. FYI, I need to buy some. I saw some at Collingwood flea market. Should have bought it. I didn't think I needed it, but there you go. Now I know I did need it. Wow, that is dirty, dirty, dirty. I'll try not to leave too much of this dirt because, oh mama, you know, a nice fan belt is going to go on this. It's not a new fan belt. I do have a new fan belt. Maybe I should try a new fan belt and keep the old one as a backup, huh? I can give this a wee rub with my little brass wire brush, and it would clean up these last little bits, wouldn't it? I had it but a moment to go. Oh yeah, I left it out, didn't I? They come in a set of plastic, brass and steel. I tend to use the steel one until it's completely used, you know, toast. I use these up a lot. But the brass one's even more better for these delicate type of metals. I'm calling this delicate. I just knocked hell out it with a cold chisel, right? And it took it. I thought it would disintegrate. I guess it's not as corroded as some of the rest of the engine was. It's interesting, you know, it says the pulley wheels are convex. Oh yeah, you can see it. Convex in profile. I'll try and hopefully that's in focus for you. So it's convex, right? And that means that the flat belt is self-centering. both pulleys, top and the bottom, are convex. I did not know this, but the old steam engines and all that were all belt driven, they found this out, that if they did a convex surface on the pulley wheels, the belts would stay on and they were self-centering. Who knew? I don't know until I started looking at these. Well, someone hit this with a big chunk out the rim. Someone didn't do their Google research, because they would have known you're supposed to hit it inside of the rim. I'm spending a lot of time cleaning this up. It might be absolute rubbish. It might not tighten up any better than the one that's currently on it. I'm hoping I can take that one off without taking the radiator off. That might be a forlorn hope. That seems to have cleaned up all that junk that was in there. Can I get that in there now? It really is a bit gubbed here. Can you see how bad that surface is? I don't know that that matters that much, but it might. And there must be a clearance of some sort in there, right? Now, so I don't have a felt washer for this. What do I do if I don't have a felt washer? I wonder if I should clean all this up. Is it just going to make it leak more if I clean it all up? You know, should it be a wee bit gubbed up? Ooh. Ah, ouch. Is that me? There's a big gouge. Big gouge in that shaft. It looks recent. It may have been me. Oops. Trying to get it off. Okay. So a project for future is clean this all up, and maybe we can, you know, glue the nose back on it again. That's where that felt washer goes, I guess. Let me just clean this out. You can have a look. I don't have the felt washer. Can I make one, maybe? See this insert here? That's where that would sit. I don't want to get all dirty again. Is that where the felt washer goes then? In this recess? And it looks as if that's where it would go. I don't want cleaning this up, it's a waste of time. When I come to try and rescue it as a future spare part, then I'll clean it up properly. It's just that I want to get an idea if it was at all savable. There's kind of metal insert in there. Don't know. That is well bluttered, as we would say in Scotland. You know, hammered to bits and pieces missing off it. This piece I'm talking about in here. Wow. That's the outer part of this inner part. I mean, unless I dismantle my engine, I'll never know if that piece is in there. Somehow it looks like an afterthought to me, that. So to try and stop it leaking. No, it must be the original. It's a journey of discovery, isn't it? A journey of discovery. How could I fabricate a fabric washer? A felt washer, right? I make it out of cork, maybe? I'll check in my gasket set to see if there is one. I'm a bit dollars to donuts that there is not. Let's put that back in its little home. Right, so trash, try and clean up these gloves a little bit. Now, my gloves will be making things dirty again. Right, we can move this out of the way. Right, my old son, you fit in here like that, and you should turn freely, which you don't, because why for? I think I do need to clean all this corrosion off, right? So I'm just going to turn the wheel and I'll get back to you. So now I've wire brushed it on my wheel, got all that crud off it. So let's test it back up to this. It was fitting in before, right, but it was not turning very easily. Still not turning very easily, but it's turning. Yeah, one of those wee teeth in this thing is bent over backwards. Yeah, I won't be able to see it in there, but there is a natural, I mean the way it's been fitted isn't correct, right? So there's a natural hang-up point there. So I'm not going to worry too much about that. On this side, I think this would need to be replaced if we were going to try and reuse this nose cone in some way. This is still terribly pop marked, right? Can you see that on the light that's available? Very worn and pop marked. So I can keep on, you know, try to smooth that off. It's the internal part that we really need to worry about though, isn't it? So would I get a little piece of emery paper and just gently clean that off and hope there's still a friction fit? So maybe we do that. I think it's much, the internal, both are important, right? Both are important. Let's not say the internal is more important than the external. But what's causing me the problem just now is the internal part. So it's just spinning on that crankshaft. The crankshaft is obviously turning, the engine's running, but that fan is not consistent. I'll show you, right? You'll see that it's not turning the way it should be turning. So it's not actually fastened onto the crankshaft. The crankshaft's turning inside this pulley wheel. This is doing nothing. Nothing. I mean, I have widely used this wet and dry sandpaper, and it's 1500 grit. I mean, it's almost too smooth to have any kind of effect on this. I'm kind of worried about, you know, doing too much because it's got this taper on it, supposedly, and that's the only thing that stops this turning on. When you bolt it up, the pressure from you tightening up the nut is what causes it not to spin. I'm making myself clear. It's a friction fit, right? So you don't want to take too much off of this inside, especially if it has a taper on it. You don't want to impact that in any way. I don't know. My problem is, as usual with all these things, what the hell I'm looking at and what it's supposed to look like inside. Is it's supposed to be squeaky clean, I guess. I mean, come out the factory, it's going to be squeaky clean, right? Can you get a good idea of how unclean that is? I can't really. I hope you can. I mean, it's not bad. If I use a higher grit on that, I run the risk of ruining it, right? So let's just be patient. Drive this through a few times, you know. Hope that we're doing something. cleaning it a wee bit. And then we'll restage over by the Austin 7 so you can get the old one off. I need to take the fan belt off. Right, we'll have a good look at the fan belt. I do have a new fan belt. Oh, I need to figure out the felt washer first. Let me see if I have a felt washer. If I don't, then I'll Google how to make one. I don't think I have felt. Certainly not as thick as the felt washer required for this. That's quite a good view for me. I don't know if it's a good view for you. But you know, the inside of that doesn't look too bad. The inside of the shaft is what I'm getting at, right? At least it's not filthy, you know. It was dirty before. Let's spray some goop in it. Not supposed to be a friction fit. Probably not supposed to put some goop in it. Anyway, let me switch you off and I'll come back. Okay, we only have a few minutes of battery life left on this battery. I'm just going to start it and hopefully I can show you the problem with the fan, right? I'll show you the starting procedure. Normally I pump up some fuel. I have a glass filter here, even though Derek says get rid of them. I check it each time, right, and it's not leaking, so I kind of like it because it shows me what's happening with the fuel. Choke fuel on, ignition on, look at the little charging ampere gauge, goes negative. Thought it was out of gear. Doing trophy things. Right, so what I want to show you was the fan. Look down and show the fan in. Get a shot of that. See the fan? Come in and see it. That should be spinning at the same speed as the crankshaft. I've tightened up that bolt. I've tightened up the bolt in the centre of the pulley a lot and it still ain't working. See it? Should be spinning very fast here. We're just going to switch off, take it off, and put that other pulley in. Hopefully it's going to take the whole front of the car apart. So 1/2" AF spanner wrench. I think it's here. I need to get my tools out of the back of the Austin here. I've got all my BSF wrenches in the car. And then I'll just tap this with a rubber hammer, loosen the cotter. This will loosen this. Oh, it's loose already. Very loose. It doesn't need to be tight, right? And then you can just take the fan belt off. And let's have a look at this fan belt for a minute. I did put a new fan on here because remember we found that the fan had been broken. I think actually we had renewed this fan belt when we got it over from the UK. Fan belt's in very good nick. Okay, so now we need to, oh wow, that's super loose. Well, maybe I take it all back. Maybe it's loose because it's loose. I'm kind of shooting in the dark here. I don't know what size it is. For some reason I'm thinking spark plug size. Well, is it just so loose I can take it off my fingers? See, the bolt is not loose. The nut, I should say, is not loose. See how loose this is? Look. See that? Can you see what I'm wiggling? Down here. Jeepers. Maybe you can't see anything of what I'm showing you. This thing here. It's wiggling, right? I need to get a socket on there. How big is it? Bigger than that. That is a 9/16. Oh, 9/16. 10/16 is 5/8. 15/16. Too big. Too big. What did I say? Oh yeah, 9/16, 10/16, 5/8, right? 5/8 socket. This is 13/16, isn't it? Yeah. The spark. For some reason, I keep coming back to the spark plug socket because I don't know why. Because that's the right one. That's why. Intuitively, I wanted to say it's the spark plug socket. It is the spark plug socket. Right. That's for screwing up. Anti-clockwise. I'm still filming. Right, let's see if we can get this out of here. Yep, good. Off to an auspicious start. Because it's the spark plug socket, it's really big. So it's 13/16. So if I can get a shorter one that size, I can always do that, can't I? Yeah. New battery. I'm showing you the messed up way I'm trying to get this nut off. It is messed up, I do apologise. Anyone with more mechanical skill than me would know a better way of doing this. No, I doubt. Okay, so I put that socket wrench on there, right on here, and I'm just turning it with this. I did manage to get it a bit loose already. Sorry, you can't see very well. I can get it about, not even a quarter of a turn at a time here. Maybe it's quicker taking the radiator off, but part of my hesitation about that is, I think it's the original radiator. I've never changed the radiator, and I've had the car for 47, 48 years now, I guess. So it's at least 48, 50 years old, this radiator, and it leaks. And I put rad weld stuff in it each time I fill it. You refill it. Move this really loose. thing's going to fall out on me. Put that there. Then that's inside the socket. There's a big spring washer on there. And there's the gubbins. Let's see what's going on here. Oh yeah, it's the spring washer that I put on to try and tighten this up properly. Can you see this? Maybe I can use that felt washer, huh? Maybe that's not the right felt washer. Don't know. Don't know. Maybe the felt washer's too thick. It doesn't look as if that felt washer's fitting into that groovy thing, right? Maybe the felt washer was too thick and it was stopping that from, you know, really pulling up tight. It's very interesting, isn't it? Right, so let's go back. I'll stop you. So here's the existing pulley. Clean. Oh, how interesting. Let's get a light on this. This might explain a lot. You see that crack? I don't know if you can see it. It's right through the pulley wheel. See it? I don't know if you can see it. It's completely cracked all the way through on one side. Wow. Now would that stop it from working properly? I think it would stop it from tightening up if it's a friction grip, right? Probably. Wow. So that could explain things a little bit. Also what I was thinking is, let's reenact this, right? So let me turn this wheel light off. We'll try and reenact it. Right, so this is a homemade felt seal. That might have been a Chris Law homemade felt seal. I don't know. Anyway, it fits in there, right? But see how much extra thickness is in there? Now then, we put this one in. Maybe it's stopping it from going all the way in. Let's take the felt seal off. Keep that because we might need it. Yeah, that one won't even go in there. Wow. That's super interesting, isn't it? Too far. So that's too big. That means the other one's going to be too small. Ay, caramba. Is it not the same? Don't tell me this now. Yeah, it's a different diameter. Look. Oh dear. Internal diameter is this completely different. Look. Wow. Well, this is a bit of a shock to the system. Yes, that's never going to fit in there. Which means the other one's going to be too small, isn't it? Darn it. And wow, look at that. See this mark? I wonder if that's a casting mark. And that's a built-in weak point. I think that crack is going to prevent that from working properly. Oh, look, someone's put some araldite on that. I wonder if it was me. 40 odd years ago. Could have been. Oh dear. Let's see if this will fit over the crankshaft at least. Maybe an earlier or later engine. Who knows? Looks as if that will tighten up. If we can get that felt seal to work, maybe it'll work okay. Now, my other problem is, I want you to have a look at this nut that I took off. I brought it with me, here it is. Oh, I thought it looked stripped, but I take that back. I don't think it does look stripped. I've put a lot of force on that. See the way the inside's pulled? Maybe it would be better to find another nut the same thread, huh? Do we have such a thing? Squeeze everything a little bit. Just move a little bit, don't fall off. I think I looked for another one of these before. I couldn't find one. It's way too big, right? It's got numbers on it. I always like it when they have numbers on them. No, it doesn't. It's just muck that kind of looks like numbers. Different shaped nut. See if we can find a bolt that fits it, and I'll find a nut that fits that. Again, my usual modus operandi. That's too small. Too small. None of them are big enough, which means none of the nuts and bolts in here are going to be the right size. Except there's an old one here. Where's that from? Looks suspiciously correct. No, it's not. It's not. What are these big nuts off of? And this by another box. There's nothing that big in here. There's an eye lock. The thread pitch looks roughly the same. Just going to try a couple of these new nuts on here. And does fit. The big eye lock does fit. The other one's the wrong thread pitch. That big nylock does fit though. So we can try that. The sweat is dripping into my eyeballs. As Derek Biore would say, my eyeballs are sweating. That's a bit too small. We have our big spring washer anyway. Why did I have this one out? I was going to try that as well. It's an old one. Wrong thread pitch as well. Right size, wrong thread pitch. But the big old sucker does fit. So, let's figure out what we're going to do with this belt washer then. I feel as if it should fit in there a nice tight fit without all this extraneous stuff. So can we try? My SD card just said it's repairing the file, which probably means I just lost everything that I just did. But see what I've done? I've cut off the excess, this stuff, and it fits in that pretty nicely. So I'm going to change out that SD card real quick, and then I'll put this back together again. The whole point was that this is cracked down the side, just in case that video didn't come out. I'll stop you. So recap, I'm hoping that that last SD card didn't mess up my files again. I lost an entire file one time for his SSD card. I'm loath to throw them away, they're expensive, you know. But I think I have to consider throwing that one away. Right, so we found the old felt washer had a lot of extra stuff on it, which might have reduced the amount that nut could tighten down. So I've cut the extraneous stuff off. FYI, I just showed you again on the old SD card, the crack all the way through this, which I think would stop it from tightening up. Again, I might be able to GB weld that. This one does fit on, but it's a different diameter, see? Different diameter. It might let the oil piss out, I don't know. Cause look, that felt washer is going to be loose on there now, right? And we found another nut, that's the old nut, and if you look at that nut closely enough, let me show you, see the insides, the threads are getting pulled right out of that. I mean, it works, well, it doesn't work, it doesn't work, okay, it doesn't work, but this big nylock seems to the correct threads and thread pitch and stuff, so we're going to try and use that. Hey, can only try, huh? So let's it's interesting, it's exactly the right size. Maybe that's why it was left out. 22mm, it's good to know. Okay, so let's stop you and move you over. You're getting a good picture here, but found that 22mm socket, so that's good. We've got the new nut and bolt, the new pulley, new felt washer, not the new felt, the old felt washer, but newly revived. Put that in first. I'm not going to do anything to the crankshaft or the area around it, right? Just going to try tighten this right back up. This is the new pulley wheel. This is the new nut. Those threads are pretty banged up on the end of the crankshaft, so I'm trying to make sure I don't start it on the wrong thread, you know. I like to turn it anti-clockwise to start with until I feel the click, you know. But you know, I find it hard with the gloves on. You guys can't see a thing except for my back here. I do apologise. It's tough to get you in here so you can see exactly what's going on. Oh no, it's not good. You can't see a darn thing, can you? You really need me to zoom in, but I can't zoom in with this camera. There is no zoom. I don't think there's a zoom on a GoPro. Anyway, I'm just trying to put this nut on the end of the crankshaft, and I tried it. This is a new nut, the nylock. It wasn't a nylock that was on it before. And if I can't get this to easily screw on by hand, then I'll go back to the original. There it is, it's on now. Yeah, it's tightening by hand quite well. Okay, so now with this, you know, smaller depth of socket, will I be able to screw it up using my socket wrench. 22mm, I guess. 22mm is equivalent of 15th, 16th. So try and remember that, future self. Let's see it from in here. That also is that. Okay, baby, just behave yourself and help me out instead of hindering me. I was thinking maybe I'll start it without the belt being on it, but what's the point in that? Nah, wrong thread. Shit! It's not tightening up, is it? Fuck. Excuse my French. Idiot. Maybe the thread's on the end of the... Threads on the end of the crankshaft are buggered. I hope not. I seem to get tightness on that last nut, right? I hope I didn't bugger that up. I mean, I didn't put hardly any force on it, so I don't think I buggered anything up, to be completely frank. Damn, I thought that was the right threads. Come on, baby. Wrong threads. Darn. I'm putting the old nut back on it. Backwards this time. I know it's crazy, but I actually close my eyes when I'm trying to feel for threads. I know. Aye. Come on, baby. I guess that's why all the books say turning it the way it was. That's why all the books say take your radiator off. Gloves off again. Gee, peeps, man. I can see it through a hole in the pulley wheel. It looks to me as if it's going on straight, but it doesn't feel as if it's clipped. Okay, baby. Here we go again. Here we go again, baby, baby. Come on, just put in there. Be cooperative. See, okay. No washer this time. Of course, this is not the right socket now. I can feel it's loose. Be careful and not round off the ends of this. Get back to a 13th, 16th when I get it reasonably tight. That's pretty tight, dude. Pretty tight. How's it looking? It's looking. That feels pretty good. How tight is this supposed to be is the question. How long is a thin string? A thin string. Okay. Let's leave it at that. Tight-ish. Put the old fan belt back on again. Thread it over the fan, please. Save your plate. Over the fan, darling. I'm sorry, I'm blocking all the view. The whole point of having a video is so you can see what's going on, and then I'm blocking you from seeing what's going on. Right, so over the fan, you know, my wee cam thing is off the lobe, so now I can knock it out of gear. Oh yeah, beautiful. Tripped over my lamp. There we go. Mamma mia. Did not bust the bulb, that's a miracle. It's a miracle. Drop it some more. I'm a bit of a klutz today, chaps. Right, are we on? Not we're on, okay. Encourage it. Don't really want to do that. Brakes on. Let's put it in gear. I just take it out of gear. I think I could turn it over, but it's not that low a compression, I guess. Handbrake off. And I'll just turn the fan belt by moving the car back and forth. You're not getting that at the pulley wheel. Good thing about the Austin 7. Nice and light. Darlings. There you go, that's all I needed. There's a little bit of encouragement. And now you don't need this terribly tight. So just a little bit. Won't come out, I didn't mean that. See, it moves, right? So you don't need it terribly tight, but finger tightish. They actually say, you know, it's a negative if you tighten it too much, right? So hardly going to tighten it at all, actually. Let's be brutally honest. Not too tight. I don't think. There we go. Pinch it. Whew. Knock it out of gear. Start it. See if the old fan spins. One would hope that it does. Move all this crap out the way. Thank you very much. Right, remember that's a 22mm. So the next time we have to come in and do this, because you know that's going to happen. Trip over that, you know. Many times you need to trip over something before you get the message. Okay, should should start fairly easily after starting early this morning, I think. It's a wee bit rainy, but I thought I'd take it out for a brief run. I haven't been out for a while, since last time I went to Scotland, and I thought you might enjoy, the little view of the back of it. Beautiful, running great.